We've got some things to catch up on. Adam, let's talk about that. Folks, welcome to the Baseball Brewhaha. It's been 2 weeks. A lot has happened, and some not so much, but things have happened.
We've
So
had hail. Hail?
you had hail?
No, it's between us. We've had hail.
Yes.
We've had fire and brimstone.
You had brimstone?
Just fire.
Just fire. It might as well have had some brimstone. Yeah. We had hail, um, rain, 95-degree heat for no reason in particular. So yeah, we've been through it a little bit here. But we've got some updates on some baseball things have happened, and I have a I have a thing I want to discuss on top of that about adulting.
Uh-huh.
What's appropriate adulting for baseball activities? Okay. I'm just gonna hang
Okay.
it. I'm gonna hang it out there.
I'm
Ye-
curious where this is gonna go.
yes,
Hold
yes.
on to your hat,
Hold on to your hats.
folks.
Well, and because we talked about in our I think it was the last time we talked, I talked about adults interfering with youth baseball
Mm-hmm.
and how much it just drives me crazy. Um, we're gonna go in a different direction. We're
Okay.
not gonna continue down that same road. But before we get there, you went to a game. You saw a new stadium.
I did.
Can you break it down for me and the people? Because all I got was a picture of you in the middle of work at a baseball game. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I thought you had a job, but apparently you don't.
I do. I do have a job, and this is what's fun about working at schools sometimes is sometimes you get to go on cool trips.
Mm-hmm.
And going to a baseball game, it's right up there. I mean,
Yeah.
but let's also be real. I've been around the world with students
Yeah.
and I've seen some cool things.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not going to put the Tacoma Rainiers up there
With like the
with
Amsterdam
Amsterdam,
professional-ish team.
Vietnam. I'm not going to go there.
You didn't see baseball in Vietnam though, right?
No, I saw
No, okay.
baseball in Amsterdam. I
That's what
did
I was
do
saying.
that with who was I sitting next to on the bleachers in Amsterdam?
Oh, I know this story. It was Corbin. Corbin
None other
Carroll.
than Corbin
Corbin Carroll.
Carroll.
That's
But
not that's not a random Corbin Carroll.
no,
That's
the the
the
Corbin Carroll. And maybe I was in the stands at the Tacoma Rainiers game with the next baseball player,
yeah, maybe
but maybe not. So I go to the Tacoma Rainiers. I'm forgetting the name of the stadium. Cheney Stadium.
Cheney's.
Cheney Stadium.
Yeah, your
Um,
dad is going to. I thought he was going to grill you, like just absolutely obliterate you in the
yeah.
comments.
Well, simmer down, pops.
Yeah.
Okay. So field trip is a math oriented field trip. They're doing statistics,
Nice.
seventh grade. And any guess, baseball themed guess on what their final math project was?
Um, figuring out war.
Statistics,
Figuring out war.
statistic,
Explain
even
war.
no, no.
How does on
They
base
were,
percentage work?
we're getting you get deeper cut than that. Okay.
Okay.
We're talking making teams for what kind of tournament? What kind? A stratomatic
No way.
tournament.
Strat like We
Stratomatic.
so we never played Stratomatic, but
No, we did not.
apparently this was the game.
Yeah,
This was like because so there's different variations. You and I have played like dice games, um, which
yeah,
obviously are just complete random chance as far as what happens. But apparently Stratomatic has like real things, and this is like a big time game, but we missed it somewhere along the line.
yeah. Well, and it still is. There are some
Yeah.
strat heads out there. Well, so a little tangent here. I'm coming your way here in a few weeks. So we were just talking
Hmm.
about what are we going to do? Well, maybe it's time to play some Stratomatic.
Maybe the challenge is that I watched some YouTube videos on Stratomatic because I thought maybe you get into this kind of thing.
Hmm.
Boy, it ain't a dabble. You can't
Okay.
you
Can't
can't
dabble.
dabble,
Okay.
you can't dabble.
Well, there is a baseball. It's not Stratomatic, but there's a baseball card game that I bought last year in
Mhm.
preparation for when you guys came to visit that we never played.
Which one was that?
The cycle,
Okay. All right.
right?
Maybe you
So
have to
we're
bring
just,
with.
yeah, I might have to do that.
So, okay. So you're at the game.
So we're at the game, they're learning statistics so then they can understand better what's happening in a Stratomatic game.
Okay. All right. So, anything crazy, anything interesting
The
happen?
kids got some autographs.
Okay.
Um, Logan Evans pitched. We
Mm-hmm.
got to see, so five of the 10 starters were guys who have been up with the Mariners at some point.
Oh, okay. And
Not necessarily this year, but
did Harry Ford start too? I mean,
Harry Ford,
he's
yeah,
not started, been up with the team, but
yep, Harry Ford started at catcher.
Mm-hmm.
That is what happened.
Yeah, nice. Very cool.
But they lost, and we had to leave early. So
Mm,
that's
that
that's
is that's
that's what
tough.
that's what you
So
get when you go with field trip. There's time limit.
time limit. Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. You don't get to just you don't get to act like you're at a real game.
No.
You sit through it. Yeah, I mean, I still cringe. I had a coworker went to a game recently, Rockies game. Painful. They lost 21 to nothing. And that individual left early. Inside, I cried a little bit. At the same time, I was like, look, I'll let you off the hook. It's 21 to nothing. So
You don't get to see it. That's a rarity.
I know so I still okay. After I read about the worst loss in Rockies history, 25-1 to the Angels. Yeah, I was there.
Yeah.
I was there.
Yeah.
So every time that
And
comes up, I was there.
I remember we had talked about that game too, because the way the runs were scored in bunches, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was like what was the bunch at the beginning? Like
It was like
20
eight
or
and then 13. I mean, it was crazy
it
town.
was like 21 by the fourth inning or something.
Yeah. I was trying to I took my daughter. I was trying to teach her how to keep score. And it's like
It's a
when you
mess.
start having to like move into extra inning things, and I mean it's just you can't I mean, it's just too much to ask of first time
Well, and
scorekeeper.
I remember as you were relaying to me what was happening and how
Hmm.
many runs were being scored. At that time, I had the Stat Head subscription,
Hmm.
which I don't anymore. So I did a deep dive into historic games that had that level of run production in such a short amount of time.
Hmm.
And it was
Is
like the
it
first game since like 1914 or something.
yeah, it was crazy. I mean, it was absolutely absurd. Like 4 innings, they had like 20 runs or something. As it tends to do, it tapers off toward the end. But we had it kept stayed interesting. Mickey Moniak was a triple shy of the cycle for like his last two at bats. Um, you know, Shohei was still with the Angels. Ironically, he went like 1 for 7 with a single, and everybody else was like hitting bombs everywhere. So, but it was entertaining. It was one of those where you go and you're like, I've never seen this before. Never seen
Yeah.
it. I mean, that happens if you watch closely enough, that happens.
Yeah.
I went the first Rockies game I went to in Coors Field. I saw something I'd never seen before. The Rockies got absolutely obliterated by the Giants 19-2. And I saw a position player pitch for the first time ever.
Wow,
Um,
I don't think I've seen that at a major league game.
yeah. Yeah. I don't even in that 25-1, there was no position player. I was
Hmm.
prepping my daughter. I was like, hey, you might see a position player, but all they did was throw some guy for 3 innings and then DFA him the next day.
Yeah.
Send him down or whatever they did. So anyway, enough about that. So all right, so you left early. All right, so anything else happening in your baseball world in the last week?
Gosh, it's a busy time. As our
Mm-hmm.
listeners know, are acutely aware,
Uh-huh.
I work in schools, so it's a busy time. They know my schedule. They know the schedule.
Yeah.
It's busy time because they know, especially those listeners who are parents, they're starting to get nervous because it's their time.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Let me just say, and here's why exactly what you're saying. And I mean, if you're a parent, you know this. Bro, for school for us get out, we get out early, end of May, even actually before the end of May. We're like right before Memorial Day weekend. Bro, we get out on Friday. On Saturday, you know what I'm hearing?
I'm bored.
I'm bored.
Yeah.
What do you do with that? So anyway, we're working it out. Um, and it's gonna be you gotta figure it out.
Hmm.
We got boredom busters written on the wall. Um, but sometimes I think sometimes yeah, I think about this all the time. One time we went on a little trip together and you had this little saying. I don't know if you remember it exactly word for word, but it's like boredom. Like, look, someone would be like, "I'm bored." And you're like, research shows you're on the
Yeah.
brink of a creative breakthrough. So I that goes in my head
Yeah.
every single time that
Yeah.
somebody says they're
You
bored.
gotta tell the kids. Like it's not enough to tell yourself.
No, I know.
You gotta verbalize that to the kids,
Hmm.
you know, like I'm at the point now where I won't do the research bit. I'll pretend I'm so excited for them.
Yeah.
You know. Oh my God, I'm so excited. You are on the verge of a creative breakthrough.
Hmm.
Tell me what it is when you get there. I
Yeah.
can't wait to hear it. And they're like, nah, and then they leave.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. So I had that conversation with one of my daughters about like you just like you sit there if you can just sit in it,
Yeah.
it's going like you're it's going to explode into a creative jumble of happiness. But
Hmm.
you have to give it time to like marinate and let it appear. So yeah, we sort of just told our kids, look, if you come and tell me you're bored, I got things for you to do. I mean, they may not be the things you want to do, but I got things. So,
Yeah.
but that goes over well as
Hmm.
well. So, yeah. So, all right. Well, thanks for breaking that down, Adam. I got to jump into my story here. Took a trip.
Is this the one where all hell broke loose?
All hail broke loose.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'll give you this show. So we didn't have a show last week because we went on vacay. We went to southern Colorado, not all the way down, but get out your map. Montrose, Colorado is the general vicinity. We spent our first 2 nights. My wife has an uncle that lives outside of Delta on 10 acres, right on
Hmm.
the banks of the Gunnison River.
The banks of the Gunnison.
I mean, literally, not like His cabin
Hmm.
has a porch that is overhangs part of the Gunnison River.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Okay.
um, back we took our little, we got a trailer, you pop it open, big canvas tent, six of us cashing out on the property. Great fun. Took some adventures in the mountains,
Mm-hmm.
so on. Um, and then we went to Montrose. We have some friends who have a place there. They're not there most of the time because they run a retreat center in another part of the state. And so we stayed at their place. We went Telluride, went to Uray, look it up on the map. Beautiful, up in the mountains. Took the gondola. Always keep my eye out for baseball fields. I had a
Mm-hmm.
picture. Oh, I'll see if I can. I'll pull up a picture here. Actually, screen. Let me share my screen a little bit here.
Gotta do it.
Let me see if I can
Well,
find the picture of. So I'm now. This is terrible. I was ill prepared. This is Telluride.
yeah. Did you
Um,
listen to the Tim McGraw song on your
we
trip to
did. I told my I
Telluride?
was like singing it,
Yeah.
and my wife had never heard it. My kids obviously had never heard it as well. Um, so let's see, where are we at? There we are. There we are. It's a little hard to see the baseball field. There it is.
Yeah. You can see it there. Wow. In the shadow of the Rocky Mountains.
Yeah, so this is Uray. Um, man, look at that. That's just gorgeous. It's gorgeous.
How do you spell Uray?
Ouray. Uray. Just like that. So, I gotta get all the way back up because I gotta. So anyway, so we went to Uray, Telluride. This is us going to the library and whatnot. Oh, here we go. And then I gotta. Okay, so then, um, what we did here. Let me stop that. Okay, so we did all our outdoor stuff, packed it up. We knew last night. I looked at the schedule. The Grand Junction Jackalopes, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Jackalopes. They used to be the Grand Junction Rockies, but they're now independent league. There's all these Colorado teams that are part of the Pioneer League, and the Idaho Falls Chuckers
Okay.
were playing, and so we thought, what a great. Well, I thought anyway. What a great end to the trip. We'll drive to Grand Junction, get us a little closer to home, stay overnight, go to the game, fireworks after the game.
Oh, okay.
So we drive up, we got rained on kind of hard, like right when we set up our tent. It was about 3 hours before game time. And we were a couple miles from the stadium. So anyway, rains, we head in, things are looking good. We're in good shape. Sun is out. We got Hawaiian food, little spam musubi,
Yes.
and just some dishes, like teriyaki chicken and whatnot. Um, was really good, by the way. It's a little hole in the wall, not Hawaiian guy cooking, but it was good. It was I was very happy, very pleased. Um, go to the game. Our seats, left field line, first row, right on top of the field, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, right next to the we thought let's cheer for Idaho because we moved from Idaho. So let's cheer for Idaho. So we're right next to their bullpen.
Mm-hmm.
Um, right there on the field. There are my family, which is six of us. We are the only Idaho fans in the stadium. And there was literally, we're in the first row on like section Q. And I don't know how many sections it went down. Another six sections. Nobody, bro. Nobody. And um, so anyway, sun is shining. We're feeling good. Then the announcement comes from the PA. Delay. Lightning in the area.
Ooh.
Delay 30 minutes. Okay. Well, we're sitting in aluminum bleachers. I mean, straight aluminum. So we're standing there for a few minutes. Oh, before that, by the way, we're cheering for Idaho. Yeah, go Idaho. Let's go.
Yeah.
So before the game even started, four balls,
Hmm.
Pioneer League baseballs, bro.
Yeah.
Idaho Falls players, one for each of the kids. We hadn't even started.
Beautiful.
So we're like, we're in the money already. We could get foul ball. Ain't nobody over there getting a foul ball, just
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
So anyway, that was cool. Very cool moment. Got some fist, the kids got some fist bumps from the players. Ba, ba, ba. No idea who any of these people are, by the way. Um, they're no top prospects. So I'm feeling good. A little bummed about the delay, but we're feeling good. And then my wife wisely said, we should probably not go on the bleachers. We were not off the
Hmm.
bleachers more than a minute. And the PA announcer is like, everybody, please get off the bleachers. And so we're like, well, we got at least a 30-minute delay. Let's go to the car. Um, and I mean, the parking is just right there. So if you need to look it up, Suplizio, Suplizio, Suplizio Stadium, Grand Junction. Not the like fanciest park in the world, but nice for an independent league. It was nice. It was great.
Hmm.
Like I mean, um, similar to what you'd see in Everett in terms of kind of quality of seating and that kind of stuff. You're closer to the field. I mean, you're right on the field. Like row
Hmm.
one in Everett is not quite right on the field. You have some space there.
Yeah.
So we're right there. Um, anyway, so we decided let's go back to the car, and we're just getting in the car. Sadness is ensuing because reality is starting to set in. This game might not happen.
Hmm.
And we just get to the car and we get a couple pelts of hail. And I'm like,
Oh.
okay,
Oh. Oh.
everybody get in the car now. So we get in the car, and then here's just a little taste of what that looked like right about here.
Hmm.
Yep. So you, I mean, you get a little taste of it there, but it was absolutely coming down with hail, absolutely pouring rain with it. I mean, it wasn't like just the hail, it was dumping rain. When it was all said and done, I got out of the car because I was like, I'll go ask them, kind of see what's going on, maybe even look at the field, kind of get a feel for it. 3 inches of standing water. I was not willing to walk to the stadium and get my feet completely wet. And it looked like it had just snowed because there was so much hail. Everybody's leaving, whatnot. Apparently, the field was completely covered in hail. So but it's like warm out, and so you're thinking, well, maybe you give it an hour. And I didn't really, I knew it had rained a lot, but it's hard to know like how much water can the field take and all this kind of stuff. You don't
Yeah.
really know. You don't have a concept. So we found get air, went, kids jumped. There was a lot of sadness, and I was hit me right there. It was
Yeah.
tough. It was tough. Um, but I was holding out hope, maybe with an hour or so, start the game. So I'm trying to check for updates online or something. This isn't like the Mariners. you know, these Grand Junction jackalopes. So they have a website, but it's not like somebody's sitting there updating the thing all the time. So I'm like, why don't I run back over to the stadium and just see what's up? So I go over there,
Yeah.
standing water all over the infield.
Oh,
Clearly the game's not happening. So I go in to and I talk to the person. I'm like, hey, is there any way I could get a refund? We're not from in town, so we can't like reuse these, reschedule the game, get tickets. Well, we can't do that. They're like, well, we can't do a refund, but we'll give you some swag. Um, so 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 I get picked up something for all the kids. Oh boy. Okay. So there's kind of a
yeah.
for one of the kids there. We got a couple of different ones. The one thing I was kicking myself about is I could have asked for a hat and I didn't. It felt terrible. Anyway, so that was my story. It was long. Um, but that's what happened. The hail, all hail broke loose, and I talked to them, and they were like, "We haven't seen anything like that in years." It's like, oh, perfect, thanks. No fireworks, no game, much sadness. I was crushed. Okay, so let's move into, well, we don't have a ton of time here, but let's move
Yeah.
into my thing. I was devastated. Kids were also very sad. They were
Hmm.
the get air helped a lot, but I didn't jump around on get air. I was just very sad. I wrote about it. Disappointment was great, and I started thinking about like what's okay for like adult, because here's where I was really struggling. When I walked away from the gate, I had stuff for the kids, but I didn't pick it. I could have got a hat for myself. But in my
Hmm.
mind, I was like, look, I'm an adult and I got the stuff for the children the way you're supposed to. I don't need a hat. I'm an adult.
Hmm.
I don't, where I'm going here with this a little
Yeah.
bit. And but inside, like, not to get all woo woo, but there's different parts all in you, like kid part and all this kind of stuff going on inside. And inside, I just felt like my kid part was just like bawling, like, how could you forget me? Like that kind of thing. And I felt so sad. I'm even kicking myself still in some ways, move on. But anyway, it just got me thinking about like you go to a game and you catch a foul ball or somebody throws it in the stands and you catch it, and like different radio things and whatnot, they'll be like, oh, you give it to a kid because that's what real adults do. I'm like, look, I love baseball. Like this is a thing for like meaningful to me too. Like
Hmm.
just because I'm 42 years old doesn't mean I stop like having a childlike part of me in there and love the game. So I want to turn to you, bro. What is appropriate adultingness in this sort of a realm?
Wow. That is an interesting one that I have thought about more recently
Uh-huh.
because, I've caught it like during gameplay.
Uh-huh.
I've caught like two foul balls ever. One was
Yeah.
at the Aqua Sox Spokane Indians game with you,
We were there. Okay. Hmm.
and one was at a White Sox game
Uh-huh.
in Chicago
Hmm.
stadium, and I had never been to, and
Hmm.
like I don't go and buy souvenirs. I don't like I my souvenir is typically the scorecard. I
Yeah.
keep score of the game that I go to at the stadium, and that's how I try and remember my experience there. And so I caught the ball and I was I kept the ball. I didn't
Hmm.
give it. to a kid because that went along with that memory. And also, I've got kids at home who would
Yeah.
appreciate as
Right.
well. So
Hmm.
I'm taking it for them. But in the more recent years, I probably would give the ball to a kid.
Hmm.
And I think, I think part of that is where I'm at in my life in terms of like stuff. It just like doesn't
Yeah.
really matter. And I think I probably get more enjoyment
Hmm.
of seeing how much that means to a kid
Yeah.
than like I get something, like I get more out of that experience than having the ball or whatever.
Yeah.
Partly because I know if I bring the ball home, it's gonna go in a box and I'll probably never see it again.
Hmm.
So I think I'm in that sort of headspace with it, but I get it if you're a collector, you really love the game, or it's like a memento in some way,
Hmm.
or you're taking it home for your own kids, or you have some other connection to the game that you're preserving through this thing.
Hmm.
Um, so I don't know. Eh, Every I'm also at a place in my life where I understand that every situation has context.
Yeah.
There's
Right.
like just saying you should always do this or you should never do this is not really helpful.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I had a little bit of that going through my head. I went to a Rockies game with my wife here a couple years ago, and I got a ball. Player tossed it up in between innings. I caught it. That was the first I had caught a home run ball in batting practice, but I'd never caught a live game ball. And so there's part of me that's like, oh, should I give it to a kid? And I was like, well, I mean, I have my kids at home as well who
Yeah.
appreciate that kind of stuff. I was like, but I've never caught a game ball in any fashion, hit or otherwise, whatever. So that felt like a meaningful memory. Um, Went for my birthday. It wasn't on my birthday, but for my birthday, So,
Hmm.
but anyway, it was something I think about because I think it annoys me that like it feels like just I don't know, like I get it in the sense of like the joy you were talking about, bringing that to kids who are at the game and that kind of thing as well. But like, but also like, can adults not enjoy things? Are we not allowed to enjoy things, or is it we're supposed to always be cerebral about like and not have emotions as adults? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's not I don't know if that's what the question or the thing is about necessarily, the cerebralness of it. But
Well,
yeah,
like you were
you
saying,
could
you're
have your
talking
own.
about the context thing of like just automatically if you catch it, give it to a kid. Like that you have to do that because you're an adult. It's
No, I
like
don't
I don't
think.
know. Yeah, it's like yeah. I mean, there's a lot to it. The context, like you said, and it's like there's um yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know what else to say. Context matters.
It does. And I think maybe part of the question you're asking, and this is where it gets into we don't have enough time for this full conversation, is like, like, it feels like the sort of expectation is that you would give the ball to a kid or something.
Mhm.
And then if you don't, you have to like explain yourself.
Right. Yes.
When, like, if I was at a game, I'd be like, oh, you should give that to the kid. But if the guy was like, well, my kid's at home and I want to take it
Hmm.
to my
Hmm.
kid,
Hmm.
I'd be like, oh, yeah, it totally makes sense.
Right.
But why does he have to explain it? Like, you
Yeah, I
shouldn't have
know.
to.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
know. Yeah, and it's not like I was asked to explain myself. I think
right.
it feels like the conversation that gets tossed out there is like you better have a good reason for keeping that ball, not giving it to a kid.
Yeah.
And so anyway, we're gonna wrap it up there for today. Thanks for hanging with us. There'll probably be more of this type of conversation that comes into play as we go along. Thanks for hanging with us.